Hello everyone, let's see geography's important question. First is, what geographical factor creates the bowl effect contributing to Delhi's air pollution? Delhi is surrounded by Aravalli on one side and Himalaya on the other, trapping pollutants. So यही bowl effect create कर देता है. In the context of Delhi's air pollution, what is a subsidence lid? A high pressure cell where air sinks, trapping pollutants near the surface like a lid on a bowl. How does a fjord coast form? It is formed when a glacier curves a U-shaped valley that is later submerged by rising sea levels during interglacial period. What recent solar phenomena is linked to the increased frequency of auroras, northern and southern lights? The solar maxima of solar cycle 25 characterized by high solar activity and mass ejections. Auroras are primarily formed by the reconnection between Earth's magnetic field and the charged electrons from solar mass ejection. Why are aurora lights concentrated toward Earth's pole? Gravity is stronger at pole, which attract the charged particle following Earth's magnetic field line. Define term primary rocks, also known as igneous or parent rocks. They are formed through the cooling and solidification of magma or lava. और इसी के लावा के सॉलिडिफिकेशन और कूलिंग से ही एक प्लेटो भी बना है, डेक्कन प्लेटो. Why are primary rocks characterized as azoic? They are formed from hot molten material, making it impossible for life forms or fossils to exist within them. Which rock type is formed through the processes of compaction and cementation? Sedimentary rocks. Define term metamorphic rocks. Rocks that have undergone a change in form due to extreme pressure or temperature, often considered tertiary in the rock cycle. How does global warming impact the rock cycle's physical weathering phase? Rising temperatures increase physical and chemical weathering rates, leading to faster rock degradation and sediment formation. Identify the seismic wave. Longitudinal waves that can travel through liquid, solid and gaseous media. P waves, known as primary waves. Identify seismic wave. Transverse wave that can only travel through solid medium, that are S waves. What is the shadow zone for S waves in Earth's interior? The region beyond 103 degrees from the epicenter where S waves are not recorded because they cannot pass through the liquid outer core. Who proposed the continental drift theory? Alfred Wegener. What was the single supercontinent called in the continental drift theory? Pangaea. The school of Tash existed before the continental drift theory, suggesting continents never moved. Theory of permanency. Define term orogeny. The natural process of mountain building, particularly through the folding of Earth's crust. Name the plate boundary. Two plates move away from each other, creating a new crust at mid-oceanic ridges, that is divergent plate boundary. Name the plate boundary. One plate subducts under another, leading to crustal destruction and mountain building. Convergent plate boundary. What determines which plate subduct at a convergent boundary? Density. The denser plate subducts under the lighter plate. Define term accretionary prism or wedge. A mass of sedimentary material scraped off a subducting oceanic plate and accreted onto the edge of the overriding plate. What is the primary difference between the Himalayas and the Andes regarding volcanic activity? The Andes, ocean continent convergence, have active volcano, while the Himalayas continent collision generally do not have volcanoes. Define term mass wasting. The downslope movement of weathered material under the direct influence of gravity. Concept GLOF. Glacial lake outburst flood. A sudden release of water from a lake fed by glacier melt, often due to dam failure. How does the Four Dham Road widening project increase landslide vulnerability in the Himalayas? Excavation creates two steep, unstable slope, one from cutting and one from dumping debris instead of one natural slope. Define term karst topography. A landscape formed from the dissolution of soluble rocks such as limestone or dolomite. What is the troposphere called? The weather sphere. It contains over 99% of Earth's water vapor and is the site of almost all weather phenomena like clouds and storms. Define term temperature inversion. A condition where air temperature increases with the altitude contrary to the normal lapse rate, trapping cold air below warm air. What are the primary factors determining the horizontal distribution of temperature on Earth? Latitude, angle of incidence, land sea differential, ocean currents, and altitude. Define term jet streams. High velocity, narrow bands of upper air westerly winds located near the tropopause. Which force is responsible for the generation of winds by initiating air movement from high to low pressure? Pressure gradient force. The dash force deflects wind to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. The Coriolis. What is a geostrophic wind? A wind that results from a balance between the pressure gradient force and the Coriolis force flowing parallel to isobars. Define term salinity. The measure of dissolved salt in seawater, typically expressed as parts per thousand. Normally 37 parts per thousand होती है salt की quantity. Name the three major factors influencing ocean salinity: evaporation, extraction of fresh water, precipitation, addition of fresh water, and mixing by currents. How is Indian monsoon defined in a meteorological term? The seasonal reversal of wind direction by nearly 180 degrees over the Indian subcontinent. Define term human geography. The study of the relationship between human societies and the physical environment, focusing on how they influence each other. According to the Zimmerman concept, resources are not, they become. What indicator is used to categorize countries based on freshwater ability per capita per year? The Falkenmark indicator. A country is considered water scarce if its per capita water availability drops below 1000 meter m3 per year. Define term seawater intrusion. The movement of saline water into fresh water aquifers, often caused by the excessive pumping of groundwater in coastal areas. What is the global resource dilemma regarding economic development versus environment? The conflict between prioritizing immediate profit growth, shallow ecology, and long-term environment conservation called deep ecology. Name the most metallic mineral rich belt in India. The Eastern Belt, Chota Nagpur Plateau region. What is the current target percent for forest cover in India as per the National Forest Policy? 33%. Define term net sown area. The total area sown with crops at least once in a year, representing the core agriculture land use. How has India's net sown area trended since the 1960s? It has largely stagnated and is even showing a slight declining trend due to non-agricultural land use expansion. Alfred Weber's theory focuses on finding the least cost location for an industry. Least cost location. Define term agglomeration economics. The benefits and cost savings gained by industries when they are located near each other, sharing infrastructure and services. What is a sunlight or sunrise industry? What is a sunlight or sunrise industry? A high growth industry that is relatively new and expected to become important in the future. For example, semiconductor, green energy is called a sunlight or sunrise industry. Define term demography transition model, a theory that describes the stages of population change as a society moves from high birth or death rate to low birth death rate, called demographic transition model. In which DTM stage does a population expulsion occur? Stage 2, where death rates drop sharply due to improved health while birth rate remain high. What does the term demographic winter refer to in population geography? A situation of severe population decline where birth rates fall significantly below the replacement level. Define term total fertility rate. The average number of children a woman would have in her lifetime during her reproductive years. What is the replacement level TFR necessary to keep a population stable over time? That is 2.1. Term green revolution. A large scale increase in agricultural productivity in India during the 1960s, driven by high yielding variety, seeds, and chemicals. Name one negative environmental impact of the green revolution. Soil degradation due to salinity, groundwater depletion, or toxic chemical buildup. What is precision agriculture? An approach to farm management using technology like sensors, GPS to ensure crops receive exactly what they need for optimum health and productivity. The Water Cup initiative in Maharashtra is an example of what type of management? Community based watershed management. What is the water wife phenomena observed in parts of Maharashtra? Men marrying multiple wives specifically to ensure household water security by having more people to fetch water from distant sources. Define term ecumen. The permanently inhabited portion of the earth's surface is called ecumen. What is shallow ecology in the context of resource use? An environmental philosophy that prioritizes human well being and economic growth, treating nature primarily as a resource. Define term deep ecology. An environmental philosophy that views humans as just one part of the ecosystem and advocates for the intrinsic value of all living things. What is the IPAT equation used to measure? Environmental impact I as a product of population P, affluence A, and technology T. In the IPAT equation, what does A stand for? Affluence, representing the level of consumption in a society. Why did the Green Revolution lead to inter-regional disparities in India? It was concentrated in specific well-irrigated areas like Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP, leaving other regions behind. What is the Naxalite Red Corridor? A region in eastern and central India experiences significant Naxalite most insurgency, roughly extending from Nepal to Kerala. How does, according to, why is the The process where air rises and cools to form cloud is called dash, whereas air shrinking and warming is called subsidies. Convection. The process where air rises and cools to form cloud is called convection, and when air shrinks and warm is called subsidence. Define terms isotherms. Lines on a map connecting points that have the same temperature at a given time. Define term hyposometry. The measurement of land elevation relative to sea level. What is the primary difference between intrusive and extrusive igneous rocks? Intrusive rocks solidify beneath the surface, slow cooling, while extrusive rocks solidify on the surface, fast cooling. Define term plutonic rocks. A type of intrusive igneous rock formed at great depth within the Earth's crust, for example, granite. Define term hyderaxial rock. Intrusive igneous rock formed at intermediate depth between plutonic and volcanic level. What is lithification? The process by which unconsolidated sediment are transformed into solid sedimentary rocks. Define term foliation. The repetitive layering in metamorphic rocks caused by the alignment of minerals under pressure. What is the Moho discontinuity? The boundary between the Earth's crust and the mantle. Define term asthenosphere. The highly viscous, mechanically weak and ductile region of the upper mantle on which tectonic plates move. Identify the plate. Denser, thinner and primarily composed of basalt. Oceanic plate, also known as oceanic lithosphere. Identify the plate type. Lighter, thicker and primarily composed of granite. Continental plate, called continental lithosphere. The ring fire is associated with which ocean and tectonic feature? The Pacific Ocean and its subduction zone, convergent boundaries. Define term Benioff zone. A planar zone of seismicity corresponding with the downgoing slab in a subduction zone. What is sea floor spreading? The process where new oceanic crust is formed through volcanic activity and then gradually moves away from the mid-oceanic ridges is called sea floor spreading. Define term transfer fault. A type of plate boundary where plates slide past each other horizontally without creating or destroying crust. What causes the 180-degree reversal of winds in the Indian monsoon? The differential heating of the land mass, that is Indian subcontinent, and the surrounding ocean, Indian Ocean, is this cause 180-degree reversal of winds in the Indian monsoon.